You know, as it starts to cool down in the fall and all the way into the winter, one of the most effective baits you can possibly be throwing is a jerkbait. What's up guys, Ben here for Mystery Tackle Box, and today we're going to talk about a totally exclusive bait from Mystery Tackle Box and Catch Co. That is this brand new Hunch jerkbait. You know, the first thing you're going to notice out of the package with this Hunch jerkbait is its really unique profile. It's a short, compact bait with this tall back, and so it really mimics those young of the year shad, which are the most prevalent bait fish for bass during the fall months. You know, out of the box it comes with super high quality size 6 treble hooks that are sticky sharp, super important for whenever you're using a light line with these guys. And the paint schemes are awesome on these. They come in a wide variety of different colors. You can purchase them individually and exclusively at mysterytacklebox.com. You can really match up any color based on whatever water conditions you're faced with, weather conditions, or the primary forage within your water. This bait dives down about 2 to 4 feet. I can generally get it down to about 4 feet on a long cast, and it has a ton of flash and erratic action, which is exactly what you're looking for in a jerkbait. When you hit that thing on a slack line, you want that bait to shoot and dart and roll and throw all that flash. A lot of these colors have a ton of flash on the sides, so it's just an awesome action color scheme mix. Let's talk a little bit about how and where to fish this bait effectively into the fall months. You know, as the water cools down, if you're in a big lake or really any other type of fishery that has shad in that body of water, those shad are going to make a big migration from the main lake to the backs of those creeks, so that water is much better oxygenated, and those big bass are going to follow right on their tail up to that shallow water. So as those shad move back further and further into the creeks, I'm looking for any type of intersecting point, whether that be a main lake point as they just start to make that movement, a secondary point, or any type of channel swing steeper bank on the way back as they make their way back. Those big bass will set up on those areas and ambush that jerkbait, and you can catch some of the biggest bass of the year doing that. You know, as far as the conditions of what I look for when I'm throwing a jerkbait, I want two things. I want clean water, 2 or 3 feet of visibility and up. That's when this guy will really shine and outperform other baits. And I definitely want wind. Wind is definitely your friend when fishing, and it just really applies to jerkbait fishing as well. I want that wind hitting directly into whatever type of cover I'm fishing, whether that be a point, a channel swing bank, or honestly just any type of bank. Even if it's a do-nothing bank, if you can find some wind blowing on it, it'll blow those plankton up there, those shad will be there to follow, and especially with clean water, it'll break up that surface clarity so the fish can't tell this is a fake bait. It's just a perfect scenario for fishing a jerkbait. You know, one more thing to keep in mind with your retrieve, when that water gets down into the low 40s and 30s in a lot of parts of the country, you want to slow that down as much as possible. I've had some of my best days jerkbait fishing where all you're doing is getting it down to that depth range where those fish are at in the strike zone, and you're just making long pulls, just little subtle pulls, 3 or 4 feet at a time, and you're not twitching it or anything at all. Sometimes that's all it takes to trigger those fish. You know, as far as colors to pick from whenever you're throwing this bait, I don't do what a lot of guys do, and that is match it directly to whatever forage is in the body of water. Instead, what I like to do, I match that bait specifically on the weather and the water conditions. If I have really clean water and or a lot of light penetration from a sunny day, a translucent color that you can see through, it's super natural, is absolutely the way to go for me. You know, if I have a cloudy day but cleaner water, and you don't have a lot of light penetration, something closer to like a sexy shad or bone color is really good. And then if you have to throw a bait, a jerkbait, it's the only way you can get bit in muddier water, I definitely like a bolder, brighter color, like an orange, a chartreuse, something with a ton of flash on sunny days. Those are a ticket to get more bites. So let's talk about the tackle I like to throw this bait on. You know, a lot of guys like to throw jerkbaits on spinning rods, and I will do that if it's super windy. You know, this isn't a real heavy bait, but I found it casts very well on casting gear as well. So my main rod that I throw this on is a 7-foot, it's a medium power, medium fast action rod. It's not a super fast action. I like a little bit more tapered, parabolic bend to my rod whenever I'm throwing a treble hook bait, yet it's got a decently fast tip, so I can twitch that bait, I can twitch the slack in the line, and that bait will still have really good side-to-side action. You know, as far as line preferences, I almost exclusively use 10-pound fluorocarbon line, and that does a couple things. You know, fluorocarbon sinks, so it gives you a direct contact to your bait, I've never really seen to where I'm pausing this bait long enough to where it's sinking the jerkbait or having any type of negative effect on it. But it also has almost no stretch and great visibility. So it's almost completely invisible to the fish, and whenever you get a bite way out on a long cast, it doesn't stretch a whole lot, so you can get those hooks buried into that fish's mouth. You know, for reel selections, it just depends on how fast I'm fishing the bait. If I'm really twitching it early fall and you got warm water, I will bump it up to a 7-to-1 gear ratio so you can get the slack out of your line as quick as possible and really pick up on those fish. But if I'm fishing those days when it's super slow and I just have to drag that bait for a nice, slow, methodical retrieve, 6-3-to-1 is just the sweet spot for me. You know, that's all I got, guys. I hope you can use some of these tips to go out and catch some more fish on a jerkbait. If you want to check out this hunched bait, it's available exclusively at mysterytacklebox.com in a wide variety of different colors. Go out and throw this bait, match the color to whatever conditions you're faced with, and you're going to catch some more fish this fall.